Hello, it's Dr. Bob. We are here at Cuicuiloco, just outside downtown Mexico City, about 15 miles or so. This is an important site for a number of reasons. First, it's probably the oldest community in the Mexico Valley. It predates all the other civilizations such as Teotihuacan and others. It was built probably about 800 BC. There may have been people populating this area as early as 1000 BC due to the really beneficial environmental characteristics it had. It was right on Lake Texcoco, so you had plenty of fish and you had plenty of water for growing crops. So it made for a very, very desirable location for establishing a new civilization, a new community. It's hard to know the language of the people here, but it probably was Nahuatl, like most of the other areas, but we aren't really certain. It is also interesting because this being a circular pyramid, there aren't any other in the Mexico Valley, and in fact the closest seem to be in the area of Guadalajara. It's hard to know how influenced the two were, but this is 4 levels. Each level, they would start by compacting earth and rocks, and then when they would get to the outside perimeter, they would use the basalt, the volcanic material, with cement, and then they would, to reinforce the exterior, then they would go to the next level. This is a 4-tiered pyramid, and at the top, there were 2 temples, so reminiscent of some of the other temples we visited, but not necessarily a common characteristic. Additionally, at specific times of year, they would raise a pole perhaps as much as 100 feet, and the voladores, the men that would jump down and fly around, they would perform that ceremony here. Now we mostly see it for entertainment, but here at this temple it was done as a part of their religious practice, and so that would be a primary feature of this temple. At specific times. It's aligned to the equinoxes, so there seems to be some celestial connection here, as we often see, just as the Bible tells us to remember the signs and the seasons and the days and the years. That's a very common theme here in Mexico and in Mesoamerica. This temple was unique, as I say, because of the round nature of it, but it was also a really large, perhaps as much as 100 acres for this complex. Much of this area is now covered in the buildings that we see behind us. It is nearby the Olympic Stadium from the 1968 Olympics, hosted here in Mexico. And initially, the only portion of it that was exposed was the top tier. And that's because, even though the temple was built in 800 BC, probably around 100 BC, there was the initial eruption of the volcano nearby, which threatened it, and really kind of seems to have dampened the civilization here, but not destroyed it. It wasn't until between 200 and 300 AD, probably about 245 seems to be the best estimate, AD, that the volcano then erupted and the volcanic material actually completely inundated this community. Now, there had been a rivalry between the people of Cuicuiloco and the people at Teotihuacan, which came on slightly later but had begun to be a real force. And so when this happened and their civilization was completely inundated with volcanic material, many of the people then went to Teotihuacan. So we see the end of the rivalry, of course. But this remains a really important archaeological site. Here in Mexico, and in particular in the area of Mexico City. It's right in what would amount to a downtown park, but it's one of the most significant sites, both because of its antiquity and the unique nature of this circular pyramid. And so we need to research more the connections between here and Guadalajara and circular pyramids that we see even in the United States in areas like Georgia, where we see these circular they call them mound pyramids, but very, very reminiscent with the tiered levels and the religious practice that was here. So definitely at least a cultural connection, if not much more. So again, this is Dr. Bob. I'm here in Cuicuiloco, near downtown Mexico City, enjoying this amazing site with a circular pyramid here in central Mexico.